anyone laughed, giggled, or smiled for the first hour that I was there. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. If you're someone who's been waiting for this video, my bad. My apologies, but you can all owe your thanks to this commenter right here who told me to get my stuff together, and I went ahead and got it together. In this video, I'm going to be telling you why me specifically, why I did not go to Yale. And this is my disclaimer. As you guys know, I always do a disclaimer whenever I start talking about colleges because people just love to give me their opinions. This is an opinionated channel. If you want to give me your opinion, put it in the comments below. I'm okay with that. Just don't attack me for my opinion. I did not go to Yale for my personal reasons. This does not mean that I hate the school or that I have anything against the people who go there or anything like that. This is just from my personal experience. So if you disagree with me, that is okay. However, for the people who may not have the chance to go to Yale, for the people who didn't get in or trying to, make themselves feel better, because I've been there and I've done that, or for the people who just want to know other opinions that are not like, oh my God, Ivy Leagues, this is the video for you. This video is going to be broken up into two parts. The first half, I'm going to be telling you about statistically, educationally, if that's a word, the business scopes of it all, and the future part of it all, because I do know that my 13-year-olds that are watching this, well, I uploaded that video last year and you guys were 13, so maybe you're 14 now. You guys want to know, am I going to get a job? Am I going to make money? Do I need to go to an Ivy League to be successful? I'm going to give you the rundown. And then on top of that, the second half of this video is going to be my personal experience from when I toured there, speaking with the missions counselors, trying to get a financial aid package, and all of those things in between. So let's just get into the video because I have a lot to say. You guys don't have all day and we kind of want to speed this up here. So let's start with the first half. I'm going to be doing a Q&A style type of thing. The Q&A, I'm going to put a question that I get a lot in my emails or that I've seen people Google, and then I'm going to give you the answer. So the first question that I get asked a lot is, do you need to go to an Ivy League school to be successful? The answer is no. No. And if you don't believe me, that's fine, but you can go on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a LinkedIn account, that's okay, but you can make one. It's free. Go on LinkedIn and then search up the directors of all of those companies you want to work at. Whatever company that it is you want to go work at, search up some of the directors of some of their departments, and then you can see their education. Yes, there are going to be a few that went to Harvard. There are going to be a few that went to Yale, but a lot of the times you will just see that they just went to college. They just went to college. A lot of people will go back to an Ivy League school for their master's degree. For that undergrad degree, it's 50-50. However, you'll see that a lot of people who are still in successful positions may not necessarily have the best of the best school as their undergrad. Why? Because it doesn't really matter. It's really that experience that you're building. So yes, I will give it to the Ivy Leagues for that connections that, putting that on paper looks great and excellent. Every time I see like Harvard, I'm like, wow. But am I going to tell you and say that, oh, that's everything you need and more? No, it's not. Let's just be, if I'm going to be 100% real with you, no, you do not need to go to an Ivy League school to be successful. You can look on LinkedIn. If you look on LinkedIn and see the education of those people, is their undergrad from an Ivy? 50-50. So does it really matter if it's yes and no? You can make your own claims. The second question I get asked a lot is, will I get a good job if I don't go to the Ivy League schools? Guys, do you think that when you put the application, that only people from Ivy Leagues can see the application online? You think that only the Ivy League people get to see the job applications? When you go to the career website, does it say, oh, please put in your Ivy League email to see it? The answer is no. The answer is no. And yes, before I get into it and people try to correct me in the comments, yes, you will get networking opportunities and you may hear about different jobs when you're in an Ivy League school or a school that has a career center. My school, the Ross School of Business, has a career center. We do have people who can get us inside. That's not to say that the connections from an Ivy League school do not matter. But what I'm saying is, do you need an Ivy League job or Ivy League school to get that Ivy League type of job? No. When I'm going into business school, the jobs and applications that are open for me for business analysts at JP Morgan, for Blackstone, for Goldman Sachs, all of those things are open. It doesn't matter if I have a recruiter at my school or not. If I wanted to put that application in, I can put that application in. Now, yes, you will need to make those networking connections. That's what LinkedIn is for. I can give you guys a whole tutorial on how to make networks because, baby, I had no networks. You guys saw where I was living. I was living in the Bronx. You think my mom worked at Goldman Sachs? No, I didn't have the connections, but I'm making them. And I can tell you guys how to make those connections without being in an Ivy League school. So how do I answer this question? What's my definitive answer? Do you need an Ivy League school to get a good job? No. Does an Ivy League school help with making connections to that good job? Yes and no. Yes, if you know how to use the networks that that school has. No, if you're going to do the same thing you did at a normal school. If you're not someone who's talking, just because you go to an Ivy League school doesn't mean you're going to magically start talking. So can you still land that great job? Yes, I have friends who are working at Goldman Sachs, working at Bank of America, Google, Microsoft. Did they go to Ivy Leagues? No, they graduated from the University of Michigan. Doesn't matter where you go, you can still get those good jobs. What's the next question before I go into my personal? Does having an Ivy League title make you any different? No. And actually, it kind of makes it harder to go to an Ivy League for your master's degree. So I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people do not know, and that is because they just didn't really think that far ahead, but I kind of did when I was trying to choose what I wanted to do. So if you're going to an Ivy League school, I don't really know of, I think maybe there's one Ivy League that you can go to, and this is just business specific. I'm just going to give you from a business perspective. Business specific, there are very few Ivy League undergrad programs for business. With that being said, a lot of these Ivy Leagues have master's programs, MBA programs for business. However, it is just as hard to get into their master's program from an Ivy League as it is if you were going to be a normal student. So for example, me personally, if I wanted to apply to Harvard Business School, I would just have the same amount of time, the same amount of, effort I'd have to put into it as someone who's already been in there. It really isn't different. I can't really tell you that you're going to get any different status or treatment because you went to an Ivy League unless it's from other academics. I think people only glorify that Ivy League status because they are an academic. But there are a lot of people who just do not care where you went to college. And I'm not going to say that there isn't a name brand with the Ivy Leagues, like they have their own Ivy Leagues. Let's be real. There are people who are going to know. There are academics who are going to care. If you're going into the field of academia, I will say it matters. I will say that yes, you want to have, a good college for your undergrad because you're going to be a scientist, a mathematician. Maybe you're trying to go to NASA. Okay, that's different. However, if you're just trying to go into the field of business, or let's say you're just trying to go into journalism or something like that, where it's a really even playing field if you have the skills, as long as you have the skills, you're okay. Now, I'm going to get into my personal reasons for not going to the University of Yale University. Actually, undergrad school is called Yale College, which is something they don't tell you about, but whatever. I'm gonna just tell you my personal reasons why I didn't go, and hopefully this helps you. So, first of all, I didn't go because of my interests. I am interested in business. Not to say that you cannot go to an Ivy League school that has nothing from business and go into business. People do economics and go to business. People do global affairs and go to business. There's other routes to business. However, I knew that I wanted a business-focused degree. I wanted to graduate with business management, business administration, a concentration in finance. I wanted to go to Wall Street. I still want to go to Wall Street. I want to be a realtor. I still want to do real estate. So if I want to do all of these things that are surrounded in business, the Ivy League route was just not for me. It's not to say it's not for you. It's not to say it's not for her, him, them. It doesn't matter what the other career path it is for other people. Think about what you want to do in life and then look at the things that these Ivy Leagues are offering. Each Ivy League has its own kind of concentration, its own specialty, its own thing that it's known for. They're not going to be number one in everything. Sometimes Harvard beats Yale, sometimes Yale beats Harvard, depending on the program. Sometimes Michigan beats them, which is why I'm here. It really depends on what you want to do. So when I was looking at choosing between Yale or the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan, I had to really weigh it down. Do I want a liberal arts degree? Do I want to study economics? And I'm really glad I didn't study economics because economics sucks. So think about that. Think about if you want that liberal arts degree, if you want to study, for example, if you're going into business, if you want to study economics, if you want to do global affairs. And then also just note that if you're a science person or a mathematician, what Ivy League is going to support you and what exactly are you going to study? I have friends that are studying math at Yale and they're like saying it's the hardest thing ever. Of course it is. It's an Ivy League. So just knowing what you want to do and what you want to pursue will help you put that target. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't pursue your goal if you don't get there. Like if you want to study math, you do not have to go to an Ivy League to study math and be a great mathematician. Like you just don't. So just knowing your career path, like I knew I wanted to go to business school and I wanted to study business. That eliminated a lot of the Ivy Leagues for me because they just didn't have a business undergrad. Yes, they had clubs. Yes, they had support systems, but I wasn't ever going to graduate with a business degree. And that just wasn't my route. And then here's another thing. And you guys may laugh about this or giggle about this, but I do not want to be stressed out. Sorry, kill me. I just do not want that academic pressure down my back. You can call me weak, you can call me lame, you can call me boring, you can call me any word in the book. I do not care. You can call me whatever you want, but I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I did not want to be stressed out. And that's just the reality of it all. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not stressed out here. Like the business school that I go to is top 4 in the nation. It's competitive. It has its own curve. Like I'm not saying it's easier, but there's a different level and standard of Ivy Leagues versus just top schools. Yes, there's a competitive nature where I go to, like, well, it's not even competitive. Yes, there is competition where I go to, but it's just different in the pressure. So you really have to know what's your course load, what can you handle, what can you manage? And that comes from analyzing your time in high school. If you went, let's say, I'm gonna give you guys a little scale. Hopefully I can edit this on the screen. Sorry to me who's editing this. You're going to have to do editing with extra special effects because I need you guys to have a visual. Let's analyze who you were in high school. And I'm gonna give you guys like 4 quadrants, and then that's how you can know whether or not at your baseline, I'm not saying you can't grow, but at your baseline, what type of student are you? So we have people who went to a fairly like less competitive school. So if you went to a school that's not competitive or not really strenuous on the arts, that means that usually your course load was lighter. You had, easier time in your classes. If you were someone who's going to push yourself hard. So if you're hard pushing, I guess up here, and your school was quote unquote easier, then you're somewhere in the student that maybe you were at the top of your class, but not at your full potential. And then we have, if you were someone who just didn't really like the academic part of school, which I have friends who do it, and went to an easier school, then maybe you're someone who just shouldn't be in a very rigorous, at your baseline, in a very rigorous academic setting because you don't even like academics. And then on top of that, your school wasn't very competitive in nature. So if you're going from somewhere that's not competitive and you don't like it, and you're going to a place that's in high like stress, maybe that jump is going to be a lot harder for you. And then if you're someone who's high achieving and your school was hard, like had 1 million AP scores and all of these tests and exams, and you were still very high achieving, then yes, maybe you can survive. That's not to say you can't get burnt out, because I've been there and I've done that. Doesn't mean you can't get burnt out, but maybe that transition from your high school to a harder college or university or institution may be a little bit easier. And then if you're someone who didn't care academically and you were going to that hard school, depending on where you fall in this quadrant can tell you whether or not you should still pursue that really hard transition, or if you should go to something where your baseline isn't going to struggle. Because I went to a school where I was high achieving. My school was very hard, but I was at the top of my class. But I knew that there was times in my life where I was falling. Like, I thought I was going to fall from the top of my class to somewhere down here. And I've been there and I've done that, but I do know that the stakes in college are a lot higher and a lot different when you fall. It's not necessarily how high school it is, where you'll get your teachers who can piggyback on you and help you pick it up, and you can talk to, like, you know, people and they'll give you extensions. College is just not like that. So you really want to understand your institution and what type of culture that they have before you make that jump. Because I know here at the Ross School of Business and the University of Michigan, the people here are nice. They are nice, they are calm, they hug me, they give me laughs, we have a great time. They are nice people. And so I knew that, let's say if I was falling, like if I started to fall, I had like 5 different people I could talk to at any point in time who are going to pick it back up. When I went to tour Yale and other Ivy League schools, I did not get that energy. Actually, and we're going to get into this, I didn't get any energy. They did not treat me as a friendly person when I went to go tour Yale, when I went to email them, when I went to the admissions officers. They did not treat me nice at all. They actually were mean to me. I had to get my counselor to email them on my behalf because they would not respond to me. So things like that, where you're going to analyze your culture, is very important if you know what type of student you are. Now, let's just get into what I just said. Yes, I said it. They were not nice to me, and I will tell you why. When I went to go tour Yale, here's how their Bulldog Days work. So they have Bulldog Days, and then they have Yale for a day. Bulldog Days were nice. They had banquets, they had dances. It was all the students you slept over. That was nice. Yale for the day is not kind to you, especially if you're a solo student. So I'm gonna tell you from a heads up, from someone who's done it, if you're thinking about going to Yale and doing your Yale for a day and you got that acceptance letter, here's something that you should listen to. So Yale for a day, they basically take you on a tour, they walk you for like 15 minutes, and then they leave you. So I went by myself without my parents. Everyone had their parents there. There was me and another person who just didn't have their parents. They leave you, and then they give you this loose tentative schedule of where you're supposed to be, and you're just supposed to find these places. They weren't very kind when helping me. I was like looking around, I was like asking questions. And then when I toured, no one laughed, giggled, or smiled for the first hour that I was there. Like, and I was there in the middle of March, April. You guys aren't laughing? I mean, the sun is out. It's a great time. Where are the smiles? Where is the laughter? Where is the happiness? In the middle of March. That was a big red flag for me, on top of them leaving me to go explore the middle of New Haven by myself. That was the number 2 biggest red flags, because I was like, first of all, nobody's happy here. It's gloomy. It looks, you know, you guys know what Yale looks like. When it's rainy and damp and sad looking, on top of it being silent, you really just get this like sullen vibe, like that you're just not gonna have a good time. And I got that vibe. Like, I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna have a good time here. And then I had to do my exploration by myself, and it was not good. And I will say, on top of that being not kind, I did not get my financial aid package until about 2 weeks, until I had to sign for, you know, saying that I was going to go there. And the only reason I got my financial aid package was because, or about a couple more weeks, but the only reason why I got my financial aid package was because I had to call my counselor, schedule a meeting with my college counselor, and then have my college counselor call on my behalf. And then only then did they send it to me. And then when they sent it to me, they incorporated like that I still had tuition to pay, which I understand, of course, that's totally normal. That was just another thing that I considered, because I was like, okay, you don't have my major, you're gloomy, you're not responding to my emails, you did not give me a proper tour, I had to like tour myself, you left me in the middle of New Haven, and then all of these things combined, you aren't meeting my needs. It just wasn't appealing to me. So it just kept stacking up. Like, this is just not it. This is just not it for me. Like, it's just so many things that just didn't appeal to me when I went there. Then I got food poisoning. I got food poisoning from their esteemed dining halls, because they don't tell you that the main dining hall that everyone makes TikToks about is like its separate own thing. The dining halls that are in your residence hall are like these tiny things. They have like, I guess like 8 things offered, and then like a little bread pantry, and then desserts in the back. And it gave me food poisoning because they put me at the black themed dining hall where I ate jambalaya and fish in the middle of March. I get you were trying to like suit me culturally, cool, but it gave me food poisoning. If you're going to try to incorporate my culture, at least make it cook good. Like, at least, you know, do not get me sick. I vomited on the train track home, and then I vomited when I got home. And it was like the most, like, I was so mad because everyone on TikTok's like, their food is so good. Their food is so good. Why am I vomiting? So this is just my personal experience just coming from the college process. If you are someone who is getting, like, if you're in my boat where you're a person of color, you are someone who, you know, is full need-based, you need that money, and also you're someone who has big dreams, you do not have to make it go out of your way, let's say, to go to an Ivy League school if you're getting other offers. I know people who actually have turned down their other offers to go to an Ivy League school currently, and now they're like having to pay for it and work during school at that Ivy League. Doing work study at an Ivy League is hard. If that's something that you want to do, if you really want to go to Yale, if you really want to go to that Ivy League, and you're okay with doing work study, and you're okay with going into debt, because maybe you're not like me at all, if you're okay with going into debt, at least make sure it's what you want. Make sure they have the degree you want. Yale does not have any majors and minors. You just get your degree in economics. You cannot minor in anything. So if that's just what you want, if you want to get a degree in whatever they are offering at Yale, and that's what you want, I would say go for it. Fully send. If you love that culture, if you want to, you know, go to these fancy banquets and you love the medieval, like old-timey brick layouts of their buildings, go for it. But me personally, I love my windows. I love my sunshine. I love my happiness. I love my joy. I love to be relaxed a little bit. I love to not have to work. I still work anyways, but not have to work in order to go to school. I love not being in debt. I love being able to talk to my friends whenever I want. I love that I don't have to spend millions of hours of my life trying to maintain my grade there. And I just love the culture and happy and giggleness that this school has. It was so hard not to come to the University of Michigan over Yale. That's who I am. I'm someone who wants to be successful, wants to get that good job. We're gonna do that together, by the way. I'm gonna tell you my little internship and how I got my job when I get my job, so don't worry, I'm gonna pay it forward. But I'm just someone who loves to be kind, happy, and treated fairly, and I didn't think that they would do that for me at Yale. So that's why I didn't go. If you're someone who's turned out an Ivy League though, I want to hear it. Why did you choose not to go? Whether it was money or just the culture or maybe your degree or your path. I really want to know your stories because I know I'm not alone. Their yield rate is actually increasing. I am back filming and doing what I want to do. We have a video that's coming out right after this. I do have a new color note video. I do have more Google Docs templates. If you guys want Notion and Google Docs templates, I've linked it down below. You just make an account, it's free, and then you get to download all the templates I put out and some special exclusive ones that I won't be announcing on this channel. So if you want that, make sure you check your email and check that website for more. What else should I say? I'm here to answer your questions. If you have any, please let me know. But I will see you all next time. It's good to be back, baby. Oh, I'm sweating.